Because Paul's writing saying, here's what I want you to be aware of. Here's what it means. Here's the goal of humility. In humility, count others more significant than yourselves. Verse 4 then says, let each of you look out not only for his own interest, but also to the interest of others. Now, here's what I've seen overwhelmingly out of people in general. I love to just kind of sit and watch people and hang out. Like, you ever at a busy place, like maybe an airport, and there are hundreds and thousands of people walking by? Like, it's cool to sit and watch and observe how people relate to each other and all of that stuff. And as I watch people for 40 years, I've seen that people tend to, when it comes to the topic of humility, they tend to err on one side or the other. They tend to err on one side. Most of us err on the side of we want to just look out for our own interests. There's no humility. It's all pride. It's all selfishness. And I want for myself. And on the other side, there are people who have what I call this false spirituality, where they say, I don't want to live for myself, and so I'm just going to live what is known as like an ascetic lifestyle. I'm just going to give up on all the trappings of this world. I'm going to live a very simple lifestyle, which isn't bad. But the challenge is that sometimes people think that because I live this very simple lifestyle, because I live this very ascetic lifestyle, because I give up on the trappings of the world, that my living this lifestyle is somehow going to satisfy God. Listen, there's only one thing that satisfies God in our life, and that's Jesus. If we think that by me living this very simple life, this very ascetic lifestyle, that that's going to bring a pleasure to God, now some of those things might be valuable. But those things in and of ourselves, because of our sin nature, which we've referenced, we have a need for salvation. We have a need for Jesus to come and to die in our place. And so it isn't living all for myself and being proud and living for that my purpose, but it also isn't just at the end of the day saying, well, I'm going to live a very simple lifestyle, because for a lot of people that I've seen that live that lifestyle, they brag in their lifestyle. And they're trying to seek just as much attention out of life. Jesus called out the Pharisees. He says, listen, when you pray in a street corner for everybody to hear you. When you give in a showy way so that everyone knows what you're giving. When you fast, you do so in a way that your face is drawn. And you're doing it for the attention. And you're just as wrong as the people who have pride in their life. Like, both of those are wrong. So what is humility? What is true humility? In Mere Christianity, a tremendous work, C.S. Lewis wrote this. One of the greatest thinkers when it comes to the Christian life. C.S. Lewis described humility. He said, true humility is not thinking less of yourself. It is thinking of yourself less. See, there are people who have a terrible concept, a terrible view of themselves, and they think, man, I'm nothing, I'm worthless, I don't have any purpose, but somehow they think that that's spiritual. And C.S. Lewis says, no, it's not thinking less of yourself. Like, we're a child of God. If that's where you're at, if you struggle with security, realize that because of your position, if you're a believer, because of your position in Christ, that you have a standing. When I stand, I don't stand in pride because it wasn't anything that I did. I stand in humility because Jesus did it all for me.